I am the host, Richard Ravenbrook, a man, a life coach, and a spiritual mentor who has endeavored to find real spiritual truth and self-enlightenment. With experiences in various ministry types, pagan traditions, and even magical paths. With a love for Mother Earth and the balance of life, I work to channel spirit and to help educate and mentor those striving to deconstruct from mainstream religion and to empower them to find the divinity within themselves and to the truth around them. The messages are focused on everyday life, creating an environment of real coexistence, a world of mutual respect, love, and dignity. The Pagan Preacher is all things, the preacher and the pagan, speaking from the wisdom of spirit. Welcome everybody to a new episode of the Pagan Empire. I am your host, Richard Kent. Today what we want to talk about are the challenges that are seen today in our pagan community. You know, for the most part, the vision and the mission of the Pagan Empire is to help eliminate the persecution of pagans and magical-minded people by religions that oppose us. But over the last few weeks, what has been seen by representatives and management of the organization are that we are feeling oppression and resistance, not always from those outside of our pagan communities, but they are coming from within our pagan communities and trying to answer why it is that this is happening. You know, I've said on some of my other podcasts and some of the other, on TikTok and Instagram, different things like that nature, because the Pagan Empire is on many different social platforms, not just a podcast, but there has been issues with perception and labels and terms and how people perceive certain comments or certain ways of writing. And we've felt this oppression and we've felt this resistance coming because people fear, whether it be control or they fear change, and trying to express to people that, there is no need to fear because the Pagan Empire is not about control. And it definitely, if you're talking about change, the only change we're talking about is a positive change, a unification of harmonious unity. That there is no change in, because I've heard one person even say, well, if you're going to control me, you're going to have to do it the hard way. And my response to this person was, who's trying to control you? Who's trying to govern over you? The Pagan Empire is not about that. And these are some of the challenges that we face right now trying to build this organization. Because many people know that, the Pagan Empire is a very new organization. And it is still in its founding stages. And our organization, trying to get things and figure things out exactly how it's going to work and how we're going to do things and getting the right people in the right positions. And we're still new. And trying to get people to really understand what that vision is. Because, I've said that I don't understand how anybody pagan-minded or magical-minded could not agree with the vision of the Pagan Empire. I mean, who doesn't want harmony? Who doesn't want to feel empowered? Who doesn't want equality in their own land, in their own country, in their own home and business and schools? Who wouldn't want that? And I look and, Spirit tells me that it's about control. People fear that somehow or another an organization or a group will somehow gain control and try to change the freedom that is in paganism. But that's not the case. That's not what the Pagan Empire chooses to do. That is nowhere even in our mission or our vision, but yet trying to convince people this. I've even been told that even if it lays it out quite clearly, word for word, that we are against something, there are still those out there that fear that, well, it could happen because it's happened in the past. And we can't judge the future by the mistakes that others made in the past. What we have to do is learn from those mistakes and strive not to make those same mistakes. There's even said in one place, that a mighty king needs many advisors. And what that means basically is all kingdoms or all groups of unity can't be led by one person, but by many. And that's what the pagan empire is about. It's about all of us as a collective. All these advisors and all these people contributing to ideas and contributing to suggestions on what they feel would create a better world for pagans and magical-minded people everywhere. When I sat down today to make this podcast, I don't really have anything planned. I merely sit and allow Spirit sometimes to just speak through me, to urge and to tell people what it is that needs to be said. Sometimes that comes out easy, sometimes it doesn't come out so easy. But the message is what's important. And the message here today is we are facing challenges, not just as an organization, but the pagan community at a whole. Magical-minded people, all of us together, are being oppressed, harassed, and threatened on social media. We're being doxxed and we're being slandered. And the thing is these things are not happening from Christians or Muslims or Buddhists or Hindus or anything. They're coming from people that label themselves North pagan or heathen. And for the most part, it is coming from TikTok. And I think a lot of people understand that, TikTok can be a very toxic environment. It can be a very productive, very good environment for spreading the word. But unfortunately, a lot of bad people get on there and want to spread their word too. And the problem with this is if somebody takes something, like we've had an issue that somebody has doxed some of the people or some of the comments in our community chat platform on Facebook, and have spread them all over TikTok. But the problem is the comment that's posted, that's doxed from our private group, doesn't have any context to it. It doesn't have anything that led up to that conversation, or it doesn't have anything that led up to why that was said, or anything of that nature. And what people didn't understand was that our community chat platform on Facebook includes members, it includes non-members, and it also includes those that just support the vision. And we allow free speech. We encourage free speech without judgment. We allow people to speak their mind. Now, we don't allow bullying and things of that nature, but you can only do so much. Admins, moderators, whatever else, they can only do so much to control every word that's said in that group. And I heard it say, last week that, well, if one person speaks or posts something and it has an extremist tone, that affects your entire organization. And well, no, it doesn't. Because we all, like I just said, that the community chat platform on the Facebook group has a mix of people, not just members. Official members meet once a month on a video platform. The Facebook group is for those who use Facebook to get an idea of what it is that the pagan empire wants to achieve, its vision, its mission, and to and just chat with like-minded people. But we've had this problem on social media. And we need some ideas. We need some suggestions. And, trying to create this vision, trying to make this vision come alive, make it come completely true, and make it tangible and real and productive. And so that it empowers people, we've got to get people to truly understand what it is that we do. And we face these challenges. But who would ever think that these challenges that we face would be pagans themselves? Our history as pagans. That name got tainted because people, at least the people that consider themselves civilized, considered pagans as out of control animals, godless animals that just would rampant just fight each other all the time. And sadly, a lot of that did occur. No, pagans are not animals. But when you're looking at things through the outside, even today, and that's why I broadcast this message, even today, pagans are attacking pagans. Magical-minded people are attacking others. And they're doing so because of assumptions. They're doing so because of judgments, quick judgments. They're doing quick judgments where they don't have the research and they just take opinion and they place that as fact. They take their own personal perception and they claim that as truth. But that is anything but reality. And we've got to face these issues. We've got to face the idea that we have issues within our own community. And that those issues within our own community have to be addressed before we can address the issues outside of our community. Because the problem with the persecution is that pagans and magical-minded people have been separated for so long, unable to come together, unable to unify under a common cause or a common interest, that other religions have quenched us. They have pushed us out of community. They've pushed us out of the overall scope of religion or practice or spirituality because we can't even come to the truth, or not the truth, but we can't even come to a point in our own lives as pagans and magical people that we can understand the differences in each other and still get along. That we don't have to be offended if somebody doesn't believe as we do. We don't have to attack people because they say something that we don't agree with. Because all that opposes peace. All that opposes true unity. That we've got to get to the point where if we don't agree with a certain thing, we simply move on. But too many people in today's society have this thing where, no, I've got to say something. But I urge you, before you say something, make sure you have your facts straight. Make sure you've done your research. Because the problem with the social media post is, and I've seen it myself, I've seen other people post different videos or different comments about what somebody has done. And then later on, find out that that was completely untrue. That person's account was actually hacked and somebody else actually did this and, so forth. But the problem with that, even when the truth comes out, that post or that comment, whatever else, is still spreading all over the internet and is tainting that person's character, their integrity, or the organization's integrity. And we've got to stop doing that in our communities. When you post something online, it stays online. Even if you delete it, it is somewhere there. And before we start to attack and slander or just I think everybody out there understands exactly where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to say. That we need to talk about brotherhood. We need to talk about sisterhood. We need to talk about what it takes to unify us. And it is possible to unify us. The pagan empire doesn't want to unify under one belief. It doesn't want to unify to create one religion or to create one belief, or if I'm wording that right, what the mission is or what the vision is simply to unite in that common interest. And what is that common interest? I know I've said this before, but that common interest is equality, freedom, the ending of persecution. You know, where pagans can have their festivals or they can have their outside markets. And they don't have to be oppressed with street preachers, that are telling people when they come in that they're going to burn forever in Hades because of what they believe. Those kind of things are having street preachers marching up and down the roads or up and down the sidewalk on a new pagan store saying that they want to push them out. Or when someone wants to have a Yule festival, that they don't have the local churches go to the city council and try to oppose that. The pagan empire is about freedom. It's about gaining that equality in this country that we're supposed to already have, but we all know that we don't. We've seen people be fired for simple things like wearing a pentacle. Or let's just say, you can drive down the road and you can see a church almost on every corner. But how many pentacles do you see? How many Buddhist symbols do you see, or Hindu, or they just don't really exist like some of the more dominant religions in this country. Do you see equality, or do you see suppression and oppression and persecution? That's what the pagan empire is about. It is not about trying to change religion or combine religions or combine traditions. It's about the North pagan being able to stand beside the Wiccan and say, you know what? We differ a lot, but we have a common interest. We both want freedom. We both want equality in this country. We both want to be able to practice the way we choose to practice and not have the persecution against us. That's where we unite. And it's simple. But there's a lot of people just don't understand, or maybe it is the fear that, in the past, bad things have happened when people trusted something of this nature. Bad things have happened, bad people. Different cults have been developed and organized, and, bad people have hurt good people. But we just have to learn from our mistakes. We have to learn to move forward even in fear. To move forward even if we don't necessarily know the right or the next step. That we have the courage to walk blindly forward into the darkness, trusting within our heart that our gods or our goddesses or whatever it may be will lead us to the other side and lead us to where we need to be to make a better world, to make a better place for us and our children and our grandchildren when they grow up. A place where they don't have to worry about, will somebody accept me? Will somebody judge me for what I believe? Will they think less of me because of what I believe? Can I walk down the street and be who I am and know for a fact that nobody is going to try to persecute me, attack me? Our country is in desperate trouble because we scream that we have religious freedom, that we have equality, but yet we don't. But the fighting within our own communities, whether it be physically in the community or whether it be online, it's still the same. We've got to come to the point where those arguments stop. If we come to the point where you just cannot agree with somebody, then just move on. But don't try to taint their name. Don't try to destroy their character. Because if that person is actually doing wrong, karma will find a way to eliminate it. The gods, the goddesses, whatever it is that you believe according to your tradition, it will be taken care of. We don't have to play God, and we don't have to be the right hand of those gods. They can handle things on their own. What we are supposed to be doing here on this earth is working together to make a better world. It's about taking care of Mother Earth. And we know that our home on our planet is dying. It's suffering. The wildlife on it is suffering. More animals go extinct every day because everyone is focused on everything else other than what we were put here to do. Mankind was put here to take care of this earth, to take care of the life that's on this earth. But we have, sadly, just sadly, forsaken that cause, that purpose. We've been separated by our religions. We've been separated by our traditions. We've been separated by ideologies and doctrine and dogma. And the thing is, we don't have to do that. We don't have to be separate in order to create a better world and a better community, a better society, where people understand the mutual respect of differences. Where people can say, yes, you're different. I don't necessarily believe in what you believe in, but I'm not going to judge that. I'm not going to think any less of you. I'm going to work with you in the community, and we're going to build this for our, and let everyone choose for themselves. Let your children choose for themselves. Because I understand with different religions, like, well, I'm this, so my children will be that too. And we can't necessarily do that. We have to let everyone grow up with free choice. Because if not, it was never a choice to begin with. That's called indoctrination. But we face these challenges every day in our community. And if you take anything from this short podcast, consider these challenges. Consider what I've said. Consider the hate that is seen on social media, and the bickering, and the constant quarreling and nitpicking silly things on these different social platforms, when we all should be uniting and not fighting. I mean, if it's something that's really serious in nature, then maybe those things need to be addressed. But before you address those things, make sure you've done your research. Make sure you know for facts what things are. And it's not based upon opinion, but it's based upon true evidence. And then even then, we do things in integrity and with a moral character that, we're doing something to make a better world. We're not doing something to hurt someone or to judge someone. If something has to be done, if an action has to be taken, according to the law or whatever, then that's one thing. But everything has to be justified with real evidence. And so far, what I've seen in the last few weeks on TikTok, and mainly TikTok, is that doesn't exist. That many people in our community, now, I don't understand. I know with the Vikings movie and all these other things, we have a lot of people that are cosplaying. A lot of people that want to play the role of what they feel a Norse pagan or Viking or whatever else may be. They don't truly have the knowledge of what it is. They don't really have the knowledge of even what true paganism is about. And they are hurting the overall term of pagan. So much eclectic nature of all these different legends, and this word gatekeeping, that we're not allowed to teach what should be, could be, and I understand gatekeeping. People should have the freedom to believe what it is that they choose. They should have the freedom to practice the way they want to practice. But it's not always gatekeeping to say, well, I understand your belief, I understand your choice, but this is the way I was taught. That's not gatekeeping. That's someone merely sharing their belief and how they were taught. But we can accept that or we can move on. But I've seen a lot of people attack people and attack them saying that, where they're just gatekeeping, that they're trying to do, guys, let's come to the place. Let's just come to the place where we will just work together. Working together for a better world, for a better community. If we don't agree with something, move on. If we have a need, we know that our brothers and our sisters will be there for that need. The pagan empire, even, part of our vision is to be able to protect and to defend certain people from certain situations. Let's say, for instance, we have a metaphysical store and it is being sent emails, and we actually do have a metaphysical store that has reached out, and they are in desperate need because they've gotten everything from dirty letters to threatening emails to even death threats if they don't close their store. Now, this is why the pagan empire is built. This is part of the vision, that if we can send people to these people, to this store, to monitor the outside, to show support, to protest the protesters if need be, to contact local politicians and local churches, whatever it may be, and say, look, please take a step back. Whoever is doing this, for whatever reason, it's got to stop. We do things within the law. We do things within a realm of peace and understanding. We are not an extremist group. We are not a violent group. We just want change. And we want positive change. We want real change. But in order for that to happen, what has to happen? We have to find that in our own communities, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, whatever it may be. Just because it's online doesn't make it real. It is real. And it's affecting real people's lives. Real people's futures. And we've got to come to this point in our life, in our community. It says, I'm going to be the bigger person here. I'm going to lay down my weapons. I'm going to lay down my complaints. I'm going to lay down all these things that just are going through my head. And I'm going to try to work them out myself from my gods and my goddesses, whatever it may be. And I'm going to try to learn to focus on me. I'm going to learn to try to focus on me growing and me becoming more enlightened and me understanding the truth, not just how I perceive it, but the real truth for what it truly is, the reality. Because our perception can be based upon many different things, and just because we perceive something in one way does not in no way make it reality or the truth. A lot of gurus or people that seek enlightenment, that's one of the first things that we have to do is empty ourselves before we can ever attain anything, because we have so much junk in our heads. We have so much things that have happened in our lives that our perception is tainted. We've got to empty ourselves. We've got to focus on ourselves and focus on our growth and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing around us. And if we really look, that idea is in every religion, every dogma, every doctrine, and every religion in this world. The focus is look upon yourself. Seek that which is within. Understand reality for what it is. Let go of all the junk, all the things that you think you know or think you. Let go and let Spirit actually teach. Let the gods teach. Everything doesn't come from a book. Everything doesn't come from a physical teacher or a mentor or guru. But true enlightenment comes from within, spirit. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I am Richard Kent of the Pagan Empire Incorporated. If you are interested in joining us and helping us, assisting us, please visit www.thepaganempire.com. You can also visit us on Instagram, Discord, Twitter, and most other networks. You can find us on podcasts on almost every platform in the country. But this is Richard Kent. Be blessed, everybody, and blessed be. Thank you, everyone. This is Richard Ravenbrook. From my heart to yours, I hope you are blessed. Please be a blessing. Share these podcasts. Share my short videos. Tell the world the work that's being done. Help me open the minds of those so closed. Help me bring into the fold those seeking truth and enlightenment. Be blessed.